The morning sun poured through the tall glass windows of the Kingston mansion, its golden rays dancing on the marble floor. But inside the air was cold, sterile, silent, and distant. In that grand house, where chandeliers sparkled and every corner whispered luxury, there was also a quiet story unfolding, one that no one noticed except the little girl with the tired eyes and the heart too big for a small frame. She was Lily, the maid's daughter, a child who carried innocence in her smile and wisdom far beyond her years. And that day, her life was about to cross paths with one of the most powerful men in the city, Alexander Kingston, a billionaire whose empire stretched across nations, but whose heart had long forgotten what kindness felt like. Backhand index pointing. Right. Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of love to change even the hardest hearts, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Silent Stories. Let's spread hope, one story at a time. It all began on a bright Monday morning when Lily's mother, Maria, came rushing to the mansion earlier than usual. Her hands trembled as she tried to hold back tears, whispering to her daughter to sit quietly in the kitchen while she worked. Maria had been the Kingstons' maid for almost 8 years. She was humble, loyal, and never once complained about the endless chores or the cold looks from her employer. She worked not for herself, but for Lily, her little miracle after years of loss and struggle. Lily had grown up watching her mother scrub floors and polish silverware in a home that would never be theirs. Yet she never envied the luxury. Instead, she dreamed of one thing, seeing her mother smile without worry. Alexander Kingston was known for his discipline, his precision, and his refusal to entertain anything outside business. He was a man carved from steel, wealthy beyond measure, yet hollow inside. His wife had left years ago, taking their son after an ugly divorce. And since then, the mansion had become nothing but a beautiful prison of success. Every day he drowned himself in work and silence, believing that emotions were a weakness only the poor could afford. That morning, fate played its quiet hand. Alexander walked into the kitchen for his usual black coffee and found a small figure standing on a stool trying to reach the sugar jar. It was Lily. She turned, startled, the sunlight catching her golden hair as she quickly apologized. "I just wanted to make Mom's coffee better," she said softly, her voice trembling. For a moment, Alexander didn't respond. He wasn't used to being spoken to like that. Without fear, without pretense, something about her sincerity disarmed him. He left the room silently, but that simple exchange stayed in his mind for hours. Later that day, as Maria worked, she fainted in the hallway. The stress, exhaustion, and years of neglect had taken their toll. Alexander, who happened to witness it, rushed forward instinctively. He called his private doctor and had her taken to a nearby hospital. For the first time in years, the billionaire missed his meeting. He sat in the hospital lobby waiting for news about a woman he barely knew, his maid. When the doctor informed him that Maria was stable, but needed rest and medication, Alexander glanced at Lily sitting on a bench, clutching a worn-out doll. She looked so small, so fragile, yet she didn't cry. "I'll take care of her," she whispered to herself, unaware that Alexander was listening. Something inside him shifted. The walls he built around his heart began to crack. He took Maria and Lily back to the mansion, insisting that Maria recover there until she was well again. For the first time, the house wasn't just a place of work. It became a home filled with laughter, drawings, and small acts of kindness. Lily filled the mansion with warmth Alexander hadn't felt in years. She left notes on his desk that said, "Have a good day," or "You should smile more." Slowly, the billionaire began to soften. One afternoon, as he watched her feed the birds in the garden, he approached her with a smile. "You know," he said, "I think I owe you and your mom something for all you've done. How about I grant you 3 wishes? Lily turned, her eyes widening with disbelief. "3 wishes," she repeated. He nodded. "Anything you want." Her first wish came without hesitation. "I want my mom to stop crying when she thinks I'm asleep," she said quietly. The words struck Alexander like lightning. He didn't know what to say. In his world, people wished for cars, houses, or money. But this little girl wished for her mother's peace. He promised her that her mother would never have to cry again. And he meant it. The next day, he paid off all of Maria's debts, arranged for her medical treatment, and gave her a permanent position with double the salary. But more than that, he made sure she had time to rest and live. Lily's second wish came a week later. "I want you to smile again," she said simply. Alexander was taken aback. No one had ever noticed how broken he was inside, but Lily did. Slowly, she began to draw him out of his shell, teaching him how to enjoy the little things again. A walk in the garden, a home-cooked meal, a story before bed. She reminded him of what it meant to live. Under the daylight that spilled through the tall windows, the mansion transformed. It was no longer a monument of wealth. It became a space filled with life and love. Maria, stronger and healthier, watched in awe as her daughter's kindness healed the men who once believed he couldn't feel anything anymore. Alexander, for his part, began to see Lily as the daughter he never had the chance to raise. When the time came for Lily's third wish, she sat beside him in the living room where the fire glowed softly. "You've given me so much already," she said, her voice gentle. "But I have one last wish." Alexander smiled, expecting something small, maybe a toy or a trip. Instead, Lily said, "I want you to forgive yourself." The words hung in the air like a soft echo. "For what?" he asked quietly. She looked up at him. "For whatever made you stop believing that you're a good person?" Tears welled in his eyes, tears he hadn't shed in decades. For years he had blamed himself for his broken marriage, for being an absent father, for losing the warmth in his own heart. Lily's words cracked the final piece of the wall he built. That night, for the first time in so long, he wept, not out of sadness, but from the relief of being seen, of being forgiven. Weeks passed, and the bond between them grew stronger. Alexander arranged for Lily to attend one of the best schools in the city, promising to fund her education all the way through college. Maria continued to work, but now as a trusted household manager, respected and appreciated. The mansion, once silent, now echoed with laughter every morning. And whenever the sunlight poured into the house, it seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself smiled on the strange family that kindness had built. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Silent Stories. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world compassion is the greatest wealth of all. Speech balloon. Before you go, tell us in the comments what would your 3 wishes be if someone offered them to you. Because sometimes the greatest miracles aren't in what we receive, but in what we ask for and in the hearts we manage to heal along the way.